विज्ञाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सिक्स्थ वर्स सुरभीतरगन्धौ द्वौ गुणाः सम्यक् विवेचिताः श्रोत्रं त्वक्चक्षुषी जिह्वा घ्राणं चेन्द्रियपञ्चकम्. So we are seeing, we are analyzing the Chandogya Vakya, which is in the 6th chapter, 2nd section. Sadeva Some Damagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. That particular Vakya we are analyzing. And why we should analyze? The very first thing is, right? Why should we analyze? Because we want to know Brahman. And then, but you are Brahman, you are a conscious being, you are Brahman. Consciousness is Brahman. Yeah, but consciousness is not Brahman. I am conscious being, that's all right. But consciousness is not Brahman, because Brahman means limitless. And therefore consciousness is limitless. I don't find consciousness is limitless. I find few things are conscious. Not everything. Limitless means everything conscious. We don't find. In fact, majority of the things are not conscious. Anyway, so then, well, definitely, then I should know myself just as a Sat, existence, which is all pervading. That is Brahman. Because whatever is, definitely that isness is Brahman. And therefore, entire universe is Brahman, basically. Because the entire universe is, that isness is Brahman. But then why should you use word universe? Just say is. Just say is. Don't write anything before is. Muktatma is. Why should you say that? Just say is, because you say you are limitless. That is existence. Then just say is. No. We will use the word name and form also. Some name, form will be there. Name is that, basically, nama. And it has certain form. But that is, the form is pervaded by existence. Form is mithya. Name also is mithya. If form is mithya, name also is mithya. Anyway, so name, form and function. Yeah, that's another thing. Name, form and function. Our entire thing is mithya. What is functional is considered as a reality. What functions will be taken as a real. No, that's not correct. Because the Satyam, the Brahman doesn't function at all. And there's no function possible in basically Atma. That is Nishkriya. Anyway, so we have started the discussion. Well, just not that I am Satchidananda, etc., but basically I am limitless. And that limitless is very well appreciated when you understand the same consciousness as a Sat. So consciousness is Chit. Chit is Sat. I have already told you how consciousness is Chit, because consciousness is all. It is invariable in everything, in all the experiences. So consciousness is basically existence that pervades the entire creation, and therefore, whatever it pervades, that name and form, that is mithya. That cannot add anything to the existence, and they are just basically just an appearance of the same Brahman. Maya creates all this appearance in Brahman, which is Sat Swarupa. Just as the painting creates a Rama etc. on the canvas. It is just a canvas, or like let's say the screen in the movie theater. Everything is just screen, but you find all characters. So that light creates a varieties of the characters on the screen, even though it is just a screen, but it appears as the real, and therefore, definitely this is how it is. Vidyaranya himself will tell in 6th chapter about Chitra Deepa Prakaranam, that how the whole Maya creates entire thing on this Brahman, which is just an appearance. It is nothing else. Anyway, so and that Sadeva Somidamagra Asit Ekam Eva Advitiyam etc. In that, we have started first analyzing the word Idam. Actually, that whole mantra is discussed between verse number 2 to verse number 46. In that, this word Idam is discussed between verse number 2 to verse number 29. And what is the meaning of the word Idam? Idam means this. This means what? What is perceptible? What is available to inference? What is available to presumption? What is available for description, basically. That's called Idam. And that is this word, which is called Idam, has been analyzed. Analyze means basically what is covered by the word Idam. What is meant by this Jagat. So that's what we are discussing. And we have first, discussed about these gunas, etc. also. And in that, and of course, elements first. And then elements has a gunas. And then gunas also we discussed and now we are in the guna of a element called Prithvi. So, Surabhi itara gandhau dvau vartate. So Surabhi itara gandhau dvau vartete, it should be vartete. Anyway, so the fifth attribute, that Prithvi, Gandha etc. is not there in all these previous four elements, and so Gandha or smell belongs only to the earth. No other element has this property. Even though Prithvi is born of Jala, which has four gunas, and therefore all these four gunas will be there in the Prithvi. But Prithvi has its own guna also. Otherwise, there will not be a difference between water and earth element. So the difference between water and earth is that all the four gunas of the water, of the cause, will be there in the effect called Prithvi element, but it has its own guna also. Well, that is Gandha, smell. And how many types of Gandha? Well, Surabhi itar gandhau dvau. So fragrance. Surabhi means fragrance. And itar, other than that fragrance, naturally foul smell. So dvau gandhau, so fragrance and foul smell are the two types of smell which belongs to earth. And Vidyaranya has described this pancha, these bhutas and their associated attributes, and we have to see this in the kramat. He has already told that there is an order. So etc. The first element Akasha definitely has a one guna. Then Vayu has a two gunas. Then fire has a three gunas. Then water has a four gunas. And Prithvi has a five gunas. And we have already seen, we will just put it in order again. So Viyat Shabdaha Pratidhvanihi Bhavati. So basically the sound and the Akasha element has a property called sound. And what kind of a sound? Pratidhvanihi, which is created by which we call as a echo, or which is produced by the talking, etc. And we have understood now talking means definitely Vagindriya does not produce the sound. Well, Vagindriya manifests the sound which is already there, manifests the words which is already there in the Akasha. Now that should be clear in our mind. So it has only one guna. Akasha is a one guna. Then Vayo BC Shabdanam Anushna Shita Sparshaha Bhavatah. Vayu, in Vayu, has two properties, Shabda and Sparsha. What kind of a Shabda? BC, that kind of a sound. That's what we have to understand. And Anushna Shita Sparsha. So Vayu also has a touch, well, which is not hot, which is not cold. If it is cold, Vayu feel hot, definitely there is an element called fire from in it. And if Vayu is, if you feel a cold, then definitely there is an element called water must be present in that. So basically the Vayu, pure Vayu, the element, has a touch, that guna is there, but it is not neither hot nor cold. So this is about Vayu. Vannau bhugu bhugu dvanihi ushnaspashaha prabharupam cha bhavati. Three gunas, right? Vannau, vanni, agni, fire. So fire has also a shabda, sound, bhugu bhugu, etc. Ushnaspasha, Vayu has a touch, fire has a touch, that is hot. And prabharupam, well, it has a color, it's a bright color, etc. we have seen. And fourth is water. So jale bulubulu dvanihi, what we have seen before, that I am just narrating here. Jale bulubulu dvanihi shita sparshaha shukla rupam madhuryam rasaha cha iritaha kathitaha. It has been told that jale, in the water, bulubulu dvanihi, it has also a dvani, it has a sound called bulubulu, and then it has a touch, shita sparshaha, well, cold touch, and then shukla rupam, I have told you, it is neither basically white nor black, etc. Well, so colorless basically. Anyway, so it has it is colorless. And then madhuryam rasaha. What is the taste of water? Well, the taste of pure water is madhuryam. Madhuryam, which is nothing but a combination of all possible taste. Whatever we have taste, different types of shadrasa. Shadrasa is there, sweetness and bitterness and sour and salt and etc. All these rasas, when they are mixed together, well, there is a combination that is present in the water actually. All the rasas are present in the water. And then that combination of all possible taste, we call it as a madhuryam. Don't try to, translate. Madhuryam, actually madhurasya bhavaha madhuryam. Madhurasya, and madhura means a sweet. So madhuryam means sweetness actually. But we should not take it that sweetness, because immediately it comes in our mind like a sugar cane or something. So let's take it madhuryam as a madhuryam. And we have seen the example also, when the combination of all the taste will be there, then there will not be any specific taste, because all are unmanifest. For that we saw the example also of a white light in which all 7 colors are there, but all the 7 colors are basically unmanifest, and so the combination we call the combination of all the colors in a light will be, definitely we call it white light. Same way here also we have to take it. So this is the fourth element, water. It has a fourth thing, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda is a bulubulu, Sparsha is a Shita Sparsha, and Rupam is a Shukla Rupam, and Rasaha, the taste, is a Madhuryam. Now what is the fifth element? Earth. It should have how many gunas? 5. What are those gunas in the earth? Bhumau, well, in the earth, Kada Kada Shabda, the sound is Kada Kada. And Sparsha, its touch is how, what kind of a touch the Prithvi has? Well, Kathinyam, hard. Then Bhumau Neeladikam Chitra Rupam, we have seen yesterday that, well, it has a color. Basically, the color of the earth itself, you can also say, that is Chitra Rupam means Vichitra Rupam, means all variegated, all types of colors. All colors are there, which has been borrowed from the Agni actually. It has its own property is basically Gandha. All other are borrowed, because they ultimately Prithvi has come from the water, but water has come from the fire actually. And therefore, the Rupam which is there in the Prithvi has come from the fire. And so Chitra Rupam, all variegated colors, and you will see all kinds of granites and what not, all stones and precious stones, and all come out from the varieties of the plants and flowers, and you can see even the fruits, all is basically earth. So, and it has some varieties of colors, all types of colors. So Chitrarupam, Neeladikam. Neeladikam is, well, here Neelam means basically not blue but dark. Neela Adikam. So dark, or let's take blue, no problem. Then blue and red and this and light blue and sky blue and what, every kinds of things will be there in this bhumi. All kinds of colors are there. Then Madhura Amladikaha Rasaha is amazing, really. In a 1 feet by 1 feet earth, if you plant a tomato seed, then the tomato plant will come out which has a different taste. And then just beside it, if you plant a lemon tree, it has a different taste. Then you just beside it, you plant a sugar cane. Well, you are putting seed. You are just putting seed, please understand. You may feel that what you plant has that taste. No. Well, that also we can say something about it, but I don't want to say. But what you plant, that seed may not have any taste. Or maybe sometime even looks bitter, but then what comes out is a sweet. That's how it is. So there is all the tastes are coming out from earth. All plants, kingdom and everything is just a modification of earth, nothing else. Anyway, so Madhura Amladika Rasaha, Madhuram, Amlam and Katu, etc. etc. Amlam means a sour, Madhuram means a sweet, Katu means a bitter, etc. So all varieties, Adi means etc. etc. And then there are shades also, but you cannot describe actually. What is the difference between a taste of a sugar cane and a mango? You cannot describe. Both are sweet. Imam Pasand. Puja Swami is to give an example of Imam Pasand. That's one particular mango which grows in Trichy, near in Tamil Nadu. It's a sugar ball. It's a sugar ball, I tell you. It's so sweet. But you cannot describe. So the difference between the sweetness of a sugar cane and this mango, but everything comes out from ultimately Prithvi. Then Surabhi Itar Gandha Udvecha Bhavanti, all this Surabhi and Itar. So, and basically a fragrance or a false smell also. That is its own property that we have seen. So all this 5, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. All the 5 gunas are there in this earth element. Evam gunaha samyak vivechitaha. Well, evam, in this manner, vivechitaha, described. So, thoroughly analyzed, let us say. Gunaha vivechitaha. So, all the gunas are described or analyzed. Samyak, very well, they have been analyzed here. That how many elements are there and how many gunas are there. Which guna will be there? Definitely, all the gunas are there in Prithvi. But what kind of a shabda is there? What kind of a sparsha is there in the Prithvi? What kind of a shabda is there in water? What kind of a sparsha is there in the water? So all that also has been thoroughly analyzed. Not just said, this element has a 5 gunas, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. And then water has a 4 gunas. No. What kind of a shabda? What kind of a sparsha, etc. Everything has been described, analyzed here thoroughly. Now Vidyaranya talks about, once guna comes, see first, so you have to see how he goes into this whole analysis of word idam. Idam means first the creation. Creation means 5 elements. 5 elements, then each element has a guna. That also has been described. Now how the existence of guna will be proved? How can you say? How can you say it as a word? How can you say it as a sound? How can you say it as a rupam? Well, then indriyas should be there. So now he is coming to the indriyas. That basically pancha indriyani, the 5 sense organs, will prove it gives the proof of the existence of the 5 gunas in the 5 elements. So akasha is a shabda guna. It is been proven by shrotrendriya, organ of hearing. The vayu has a shabda and sparsha. That is proven by the Shrotrendriya and and Tvagindriya, skin. Basically, skin means a gross thing, but Tvagindriya, you can keep that way. So then same way other elements also you can take. Therefore you require, basically Prithvi has a Gandha also. Prithvi has all the five gunas, and therefore all the five gunas are there in Prithvi. When to pick up all the five gunas, you require five sense organs basically. And so now he will talk about Indriyas. So creation, five elements, then each element has its own gunas, that also done. And now to prove the existence of these gunas, well, you require Indriyas. So he will talk now about Indriyas. In that also we will talk about Jnanendriyas first. And then he will talk about Karmendriyas, etc. So the five sense organs or the Indriya Panchakam are what? Shrotram, Tvak, Chakshu, Jihva and Granam. Well, and all these things also he will tell about that Indriya cannot function as it is independently. It has to be placed in its own house. Well, like the person works, he cannot just stand on the road and function. He should be provided an office. So sitting in the office as if he functions. Same way, the Indriya cannot function independently. Indriya has to be placed. And that's all he is going to talk about it. So these are the five Indriyas you know very well. Jnanendriyas. This is very simple for us because we have studied Tattvabodha, and before that also we are knowing. Anyway, so Shrotram, Tvak, Chakshushi, Jihva and Granam. So ears and skin and eyes and tongue and nose. These are subtle, right? It's a part of subtle body, So physical sense organs now, which are called Golakams actually, which are the houses where these Indriyas will be placed and they will function. So definitely eyes function residing in eyeballs. Eyeballs is basically a part of it, which is called Golakam. It is part of physical body. And the invisible power of seeing, right? Invisible power of seeing in the eyeball is called Indriya. Eyes. Then definitely eardrums. That's called Golakam, part of physical body. But that is where the ears are situated. And ears is what? Well, invisible power of hearing in the eardrums is called ears. This is how we have to understand. And he is going to prove how it is invisible and how then still we are able to understand and all that. How we will prove the existence, etc. He will explain it. So basically, this is part of Sukshma Shariram and therefore it is invisible, all the Indriyas. And the Golakams are basically visible. So, well, definitely, other also you can take. This particular Nasika. Nasika is a physical, nose we call it, right? Nose is a Golakam. And Golakam means a residence actually, residence of Indriya. So, Golakam, this Nasika, nose is a part of physical body. It's a physical sense organ if you want to call. Or say Golakam. And in that there is an invisible power of smelling. That's a Indriya. That's a Granendriya. And same way this Tvak means the skin, the gross skin. Well, that is basically a part of the physical body. But it has a invisible power of touch, and that is Indriya, Tvagindriya. And this Jihva, the tongue, is basically, it is a part of physical body. It is Golakam, and in that there is an invisible power of tasting, varieties of the taste. That's called Swadendriya, etc. So definitely this is a way he's going to describe. Now let's go ahead. Karnadi golakastham tat shabdadigrahakam kramat saukshmyat karyanumeyam tat prayo dhavet bahirmukham. So tat Indriya Panchakam, tat means here now you have to understand Indriya Panchakam, this five, the five sense organs. Well, Karnadi Golakastham Kramat, in order, respectively. Karnadi Golakastham, Karna, etc. Karna means basically eardrums. In that Shrutrendriya, the invisible power of hearing is there. And Adi Padartha you have to take, eyeballs, etc. all this. So, eyes and ears and nose and tongue and the skin. These are the golakams for the five senses. So that is kramat you have to take. Yeah, and that we'll see that. Kramat means basically karna goes with the shabda. The shabda basically, shabda is a sense object. Well, and that has been picked up by this particular indriya, that is invisible power, residing in the golakam, particular golakam. So now here very interesting thing is the location of these five sense organs. First, we should take a note of it. Out of the five sense organs, four are there just on the head. Right? Basically, and what are they? Ears, eyes, eardrums basically, or let's say ears. Indriya itself will take. Let's take that way. Ears, nose, eyes, and the tongue, etc. are located in a just head, and respective indriyas are also located in that. If you take them as a golakam, nose, etc., you take it as a physical part, then you have to take indriya also respectively, and so they remain in that specific location. So basically chakshur indriya will be in the chakshu golakam, that's the eyeballs, and then shrotra indriya will be in the eardrums, etc. So but all the four are basically on the head. And so the sense perception through these organs is possible only where they are located in this golakams, otherwise not. So ears alone can hear, and so they perform a very specific function. So this performs seeing basically, and ears perform a function of hearing, etc. But the fifth sense organ, that is the skin, which pervades the basically entire body, inside and outside, both, not just outside, inside also. And he's going to talk about it inside, how we feel, touch, etc. He's going to talk. But let's take right now that outside, inside, everywhere skin is there. And that is the Tvagindriya is there. Where the skin is, there the Tvagindriya is, because the Indriya resides in the Golakam. So the skin part is not just outside, inside, and that is a very good arrangement by the Ishvara, because basically through the skin we come in contact with the different objects, and so we can protect ourselves or preserve our body because of the skin. And so this is how, definitely that is how, because if cold is there, too much cold, you will feel, and you have to protect the body, otherwise there can be a death, too much of cold, etc., too much of heat also. So definitely it's a very good arrangement. So out of the five sense organs, four organs along with their golakams and are there in a specific area, and the fifth indriya, that is Tvagindriya, a sense of touch, is spread all over the body, because the skin, its golakam, is spread all over the body, inside and outside. So there is a definition also. Ashariram vyapi indriyam tvagindriyam ashariram. A means asamantat. Asamantat vyapi, which is pervaded in the entire body. This A is, which has been prefix, which is used as a prefix, indicates that boundary. A Brahma Bhuvanan Lokaha Punaravartinaha, etc. A Brahma Bhuvanan Loka, up to Brahma Loka. Same way, A Shariram Vyapi. In the entire, up to Shariram means entire body. Vyapi means it is pervaded. That particular Indriya is called Tvagindriya. So that's the definition. That's a Lakshana of it. That the Indriya, the sense organ which is pervading entire body, is Tvagindriya. Other all have a specific location, but Tvagindriya has no specific location. It is pervading inside, outside the body. Of course, there are a few places where it is not. And those two places are, one is the nail and other is the hair. So, and that is how basically nail doesn't have a sense, the Tvagindriya. That's how you are able to cut. Otherwise, you cannot cut. If the Tvagindriya is there, it will give you a sensation of touch, and that pain also, immediately you will feel the pain. That's how sometimes people cut so much of nail, then and therefore Somebody told me, Swamiji, when we are touching the hair, we feel a touch, and therefore in the hair itself there is a sense of touch. No, you are feeling the sense of touch in the hair because it is rooted in this skin. So because of that only you are feeling. That's why I am clarifying. You may be knowing, but you are able to cut the hair, cut the nails, etc. That shows that there is no skin there. And so that's how anything happens to the nail, you won't know unless the skin which is there inside, well, definitely gets affected. Otherwise you will not know. So you can understand, to prevent, to preserve or to protect this body, the Tvagindriya is very, very essential. Otherwise any part will be cut, you will not know. Like you are cutting nails and hair, any part will be cut, you will not know. But you immediately know because of the sense of touch pervading that part. So it's good. Anyway, Karnadi Golakastham Tat means Indriya Panchakam. This is a group of 5 sense organs. Karnadi Golakastham, Karnadi Golakastham, Golake Tishtadi iti Golakastham, Tatastham, Tate Tishtadi Tatastham, Kute Tishtadi Kutastham, and Golake Tishtadi Golakastham, right? Which resides in the Golakam. This is the group of 5 sense organs reside in the specific location of, basically in the different golakams which are the part of the physical body. And remaining there, they will pick up sense objects, the creation. They will remain, and they will pick up sense objects through, of course, they will pick up basically gunas of the object. Indriyani Shabdadi Grahakam, see, Indriyani Shabdadi. So Karnadi Golakastham Tat Indriya Panchakam, Indriyani Shabdadi Grahakam. This Indriyas which becomes the perceiver. Grahakam is a perceiver. So Indriya is a perceiver of Shabdadi. So I don't say that eyes pick up, eyes see the pen, even though I say that way. But actually, the eyes pick up the color and through that the form of the pen. Please understand this. Any sense organ pick up the attribute in the object. But how can the attribute will be there in object? Because it is made up of 5 elements. So each element has its own guna. And that guna is picked up by the particular sense organ. And that is how we say this is a sense object, and this is a sense object. This is object of perception, object of seeing through the eyes. But we should know the eyes actually pick up the object, means eyes pick up the guna, eyes pick up the color, through that the form of this object. Of this object, and therefore every object is made up of 5 elements, and every element has a guna. And then guna is picked up, is perceived by the respective organ. We should know that way. That is how Atma is never picked up. We say Atma is not available for perception because of this. Because Atma has no guna. Why? Because Atma is not made up of elements. Atma is not made up of elements, therefore Atma does not have any guna, and therefore any sense organ cannot objectify Atma. That's how we say. So here very clearly Vidyaranya says the Indriyani Shabdadi Grahakam. Basically these Indriyas will pick up or the perceive, basically experiences, cognizes a particular guna in the sense object. And what are the sense 5 senses? Well, Shrotram, Tvak, Chakshushi, Jihva, Granam, and they will pick up what? So Shrotram pick up Shabda, Tvagindriya picks up the Sparsha, then the eyes pick up the Rupam, and then Jihva, well, the organ of taste, basically picks up the Rasa, the taste, and Granam, the Granendriya picks up the Gandha. So that is a Kramat. So this is in order we will have to see. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, picked up by the Shrotrendriya, Tvagindriya, Chakshurendriya, then Jihva and Granam. And well, and there is one more point to be noted here now. that the sense organs will definitely have the power to senses external objects, to sense external objects by sensing the guna of the objects. And this power also of sensing the guna in the objects also under one condition. What is that condition? They should be there in respective golakam. Remaining in respective golakams, they get a power of perceiving a respective guna in the different objects, in the creation. And so golakams, well, it is a part of Sthula Shariram. And therefore after death, basically when the Sukshma Shariram leaves this gross body and is traveling towards another body, in between, it cannot perceive anything. It cannot smell. The Sukshma Sharira, of course, Jiva is there definitely, because you will say, Swamiji, how can Sukshma Sharira is made up of elements? How can Sukshma Sharira pick up? It is inert. It cannot as such smell and see and taste and everything. That consciousness should be there. Yeah, that is there. Consciousness reflected in the Sukshma Shariram, definitely it is there. And so that reflected consciousness. But I don't say basically the reflected consciousness travels. Even though we call basically the reflected consciousness travels. Jiva travels, that is. Jiva travels. Jiva leaves his body and travels. Basically Sukshma Sharira travels. Jiva does not travel in as much as Jiva will be always associated with the Sukshma Sharira. And that is how you remember when the person leaves, even though we say, actually the Udana Vayu becomes activated. And the Udana takes everything. And therefore basically, and you see the reflected consciousness, basically why we say we cannot travel in as much as, even so reflected consciousness is born of the consciousness ultimately, right? The reflection. Consciousness is all pervading, so it is all the time there. So the medium is there, the Sukshma Sharira, and therefore reflection will be all the time there. And therefore we should not say reflected consciousness travels means, well, basically it is at one place and then it goes to other place. That's called travel. That is how Nayayika defines. The traveling or the motion means what? The object is at one place and which is not there at the same time to the other place. Then it has to travel to reach to that place. So it is not like this. Basically Sukshma Sharira travels, that's for sure. It is a limited. Sukshma Sharira which is limited, it travels. But Sukshma Sharira being a reflecting medium, reflected consciousness will be all the time there. You cannot make a separate. Any reflection you cannot separate from a reflecting medium. It is never possible. And therefore reflecting medium travels. And that is how very clearly Upanishad also reveals that the prana lives. I mean Udana especially. Udana takes, it becomes when the prarabdha is over, out of this prana, apana, vayana, udana, etc., udana becomes active. And we experience also. Especially when person vomits too much, then he feels that he is really going to live. As if, they talk in Gujarati also like that. Swamiji, I feel that I am gone now. So this is how it is. So Udana becomes active. Udana takes the entire luggage. And prana only has the capacity to take. That is a power. To reach to any place, you require power. The Shakti who has? The Chidabhasa has no Shakti. Chidabhasa is nothing other than itself, Chidabhasa. It's not an entity at all. Chidabhasa is a poor guy. Anyway, Jiva is a poor guy, bichara. So, prana has that power, Shakti, to go from one place to other. So please understand, the subtle body lives, which is limited, and so it can go from one place to other place. You cannot say Chidabhasa lives. Means Chidabhasa is a limited entity. It is limited, but you cannot independently tell me that, oh, Chidabhasa is outside now and Swamiji it is living. Sukshma Sharira lives, and therefore we say Chidabhasa, which is non-separate from it, also goes. Understand? These are certain points which should be clear in our mind. Anyway, so after that, when the Sukshma Sharira leaves this physical body and travels towards another Sthula Sharira, in between, The subtle body, which is now conscious because of the reflected consciousness, and there are indriyas also in that, right? Of course, but they are not able to see, not able to taste, nothing. And therefore, well, jiva, hanging in around and talking to you, etc., don't believe all this thing. And jiva, you are not able to see jiva anything, and jiva is not able to see anything. But Swamiji, it has indriyas. Let it be. Unless they are placed in a sthula shariram, in a respective golakam, they cannot function. And therefore, these are all cock and bull stories which people talk about, that I saw my father, he was talking from the one corner of the room, etc. This is all a hang up somewhere. Anyway, so basically don't believe all this. So, when it reaches to the next Sthula Shariram, then he enters into that, and depending upon Sthula Shariram. That's amazing. Even though when the Sukshma Sharira leaves, it has all the Indriyas and all Karmendriya, organ of action, and all sense organs, and everything is there. But depending upon Sthula Sharira, well, Indriyas manifest into that. And you find, suppose I am talking about me. After my prarabdha is over, now this Sukshma Sharira along with this, of course, Chidabhasa also lives. And my karma is such that I'm getting this a tree body, Sthula Sharira. Well, it is also Jiva, right? And so this, I get a tree body. Now where are the eyes? Where is the nose? So all these Indriyas cannot function because they are not getting the respective golakams. Respective golakams they are not getting. If they are not getting a place, how can they function? And therefore there is only, even though this subtle body from here goes to the gross body called tree, but basically only one Indriya functions, and that is touch. Only one. Eyes, etc. Even though it is there, whole Sukshma Sharira is there, but it is not, since it is not getting a respective golakam, it cannot function. Only, and the touch is there, sense of touch is there. That's how you find the season, right? People are now will go for the fall and seeing the trees and everything. That shows the atmospheric effect on the trees, etc. is there. When the spring comes, they will just bloom, etc. So sense of touch is there and that is how human body is really a marvel, in which all the sense organs get the places, respective golakams, and therefore all indriyas can function here. So that's a thing. So depending upon in these 14 lokas, what kind of a gross body you get as per your karma, depending upon that, the subtle body manifests into that. And so subtle body is complete. Don't think that entire subtle body is there in the our tree, but because since they are not getting that gross body is such in which, well, definitely it doesn't have all the golakams. Respective golakams are not there, and therefore the indriya cannot get that location for the function. So it won't be there. And then when it leaves that body and again comes to the human body, then definitely again, well, all the sense organs and organ of action, everything gets a respective golakams, and then they are able to function completely. So karnadi golakastham tat, remaining in this golakam, the indriyas can operate. So this karnadi golakastham is a basically adjective of that. Tat means indriya panchakam. So karnadi golakastham indriya panchakam. So indriya panchakam is a substantive and karnadi golakastham is an adjective. So in this indriyas, karnadi golakastham, indriyas remaining, residing in the golakas called karna, shrotra, chakshu, etc., eyeball, eardrum, remaining that they function. So, okay, golakam belongs to sthula shariram, and well, they can be seen, etc., or they can be touched, etc. So through pratyaksha pramana, golakas, well, definitely we can prove. But how do we prove the indriya, that invisible power in the golakam, or the indriya, sense organs, organ of action? How do we prove the existence of them? So for that purpose, Well, here he gives an answer, Vidyaranya gives an answer, like the presence of a Shrotrendriya. Well, definitely it cannot, you see the eardrum, but you cannot see the organ of hearing. So, it can be inferred. That's the very first time I am also hearing this. Because, you see, in Tattvabodha we have not found like this, that the sense organs or organs of action can be inferred. Tattvabodha has not taught. But that can be inferred. That is what is been proven here. That has been told here. So the presence of Shrotrendriya can be inferred. And to have an inference, well, definitely you require a hetu. If you remember my example, when I talked about Anumana Pramanam, I told you in Anumana Pramanam there are 5 things actually. But let's talk about 2 things at least. One is, and the very, very prime thing is a hetu. So, hetu proves the sadhya. So, like, I want to prove that there is a fire on our hillock. I could not see because it is at a distant place. But still I can say that that particular hillock has a fire. How? Well, then I will have to give a hetu. And that hetu is dhumavatvat. Well, since the hillock has a smoke, well, definitely it has a fire. So, dhumavatvat is a hetu. In order to prove the fire through not pratyaksha, not through perception, through inference. So, that fire which is not available for my perception, yet I prove its existence through the inference. So that is called, that fire is called Anumeyam. Anumeyah. Anumeyam is Anumana Vishaya. Anumana Vishaya, which is an object of inference. What? Fire. So we are proving a fire, well, which is an object of inference through the hetu, through an argument. What? That it has a smoke. Right? Same way here, we are proving the presence of senses, sense organs or organs of action through, well, they become object of inference through a hetu. What is a hetu? So that has been told here. So from that, because, so it says Saukshmyat Karyam Anumeyam Tat means this Indriya Panchakam, Karya Anumeyam. Because of their, Saukshmyat, that you keep it aside now. So these 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action, they are Anumeyam basically. Indriya Panchakam, let's say sense organs. The group of 5 sense organs which called Indriya Panchakam, Anumeyam, means they are objects of, these Indriyani sense organs are objects of inference. Anumeyam is Anumana Vishaya. How? Because of their function, Karya Anumeyam, because their function. Since, a sound is heard, then I can say that there is a Shrotrendriya. Since a color is picked up or a form is picked up, well, definitely I can say that the Chakshurendriya is present. Well, I'm able to taste varieties of the things, well, then I can say that the organ of taste is present. I am able to smell, then I can say, well, definitely, the organ of smell is present. So from the karya, from the effect, we are able to do anumana. Like from the smoke, you are able to do anumanam of a agni or a fire on the hillock. Same way, from the different functions of the indriya, we are able to prove the existence of sense organs or organ of action also in the respective golakams. So this is how karya anumeyam tat indriya panchakam karya anumeyam, that indriya panchakam, that group of 5 sense organs, are inferred from its respective functions. Why should you do that? Why should you do that? You are not able to see your own indriyas. You are able to see other indriyas, others indriyas, then why not you are able to see that your own indriyas? No. Saukshmyat, because they are part of subtle body. So it is, you are not able to see it. Since it is sukshmam, it is not available for perception, and therefore you have to infer. What is not available for perception, you can go for inference. And that is how the fire which is not available for perception because of the distance, but still I can infer the presence or existence of fire on the hillock, and that is through inference. Same way here. So three things are told in this verse. Karnadi golakastham tat indriya panchakam kramat shabdadi grahakam bhavati. Karnadi golakastham tat indriya panchakam. This group of five sense organs, basically we are taking as a group here. And karna, which are situated in the respective golakams, well, kramat, in order, well, definitely shabdadi grahakam, well, in order they perceive shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, in order that. And karnadi means you have to start with that. Karna picks up shabda, and then tvak picks up sparsha, etc. Then second thing about that indriyas has been told. Tat saukshmat karyanumeyam bhavati. Since they are subtle in nature, they be part of the subtle body, and therefore these indriyas, well, are inferred from their functions which they saw, like hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, touching, etc. And third thing now is been told. Tat prayaha bahirmukham dhavet. So the sense organs are generally extrovert. I mean, they perceive the five attributes of the external world. The whole external world is made up of elements, five elements. Each element has its guna, and therefore these sense organs will definitely perceive the five attributes present in the different sense objects in the world. See, we are all discussing idam, this universe. We are discussing this. And sometimes they perceive internal also. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa and gandha, they are also perceived. That is being discussed now. Kadachit pihite karne shruyate shabda antarah pranavayu jatharagnau jalapanenna bhakshane. Kadachit, sometime. Karne pihite, when you shut off, when you close, right, or when you cover your ears, then you will find some shabda, the sound which is there inside the body. Pihite, this pihita word as such, I think you know, it comes even in the Ishavasya Upanishad also. Satyasya pihitam mukham. Apihitam and pihitam has the same meaning. And api plus dha dhatu is there. And the past passive participle of dha is hitam actually. So api plus dha means is equal to cover. So apihitam, covered. Sometimes instead of apihitam they write pihitam. Then that also means covered. And that is very popular. The people who are doing puja etc. For them it is very, when you offer a nivedyam etc. Well, they always chant this mantra, I mean a part of mantra. Amrita abhidhanamasi, Amrita abhidhanamasi. So, which means I covered the food. Well, after this Amrita, so two things are there. When you offer a nivedyam, you chant one mantra. And when we have that bhavana that Ishvara has taken the food, then we chant another mantra. And that both the mantras, word Amrita is there. So Amrutopastaranam asi. Amrita upastaranam asi. Amrita upastaranam asi before he eats. When we offer, then we say like that. That I am, well, definitely I spread this Amrutam all over the food. Upastaranam means spreading. I spread Amrutam all over the food before Bhagavan takes it or you take it. Either way, it's the same thing. Here also we are offering, it's only therefore Bhagavan said in 15th chapter, it is whatever you are eating, it's an offering to me only, because I am there as a Jatharagni. I mean, I am there as a samana in the stomach. Anyway, So this is their Amrutopastaranamasi before offering the food, before he eats. So I spread that Amrutam all over the food in order to detoxify it. And then Amruta Pidhanamasi, that Apidhanam means I am covering the food. So that is, Bhagavan took the food or you took the food. Then you chant this mantra. So you again cover with the Amrutam in order to detoxify the food which you have already taken. So these two mantras are very popular. Amrutopastaranamasi before food is taken. Amruta Pidhanamasi after the food is taken. So this Pihitam word is there. But Swamiji, it is Apidhanam. Yeah, it is same. Api plus Dha. So from that it's a noun, Apidhanam. Here it is, Dha has been converted to past participle. So Hitam. Anyway, Karne Pihite Antarah Shabdah Shruyate. So when the ears are covered or shut off, one can hear the internal sounds clearly. Yogis are able to hear the continuous, we have told you this Anahata Shabda, Omkara. Now I have somebody told me, Swamiji, this sun, our sun, that sun is constantly uttering, constantly chanting Omkara, etc. And then there are a lot of videos are now in circulation that all the time this sun is constantly giving a sound, and that sound is matching with the Omkara sound, etc. Anyway, so Anahata Shabda, which is basically yogis are able to pick up the unmanifest sound because of their capacities. Yogis can enhance the capacity or to enhance the power of the senses. That's they have. And ultimately all are related to pranas, Indriyas are related to prana basically. And through pranayama and etc., well, definitely they are able to have a lot of control over the prana as well as senses, and they are able to enhance even sometime I will talk about it. So they have those kind of powers. They need not say, suppose this object has a certain smell. You consider it that this is a jasmine. For a moment you take it. Now you and me have to smell it, right? And definitely you have to bring that gross object near you and smell. But yogis can get a smell of a jasmine without really picking up the gross jasmine. That's what I want to convey. Yogis can taste varieties of the foods which he likes, whatever he likes, suppose. He can have a taste of everything without really taking that gross object, gross food. That kind of a power enhancement they have. Anyway, and so they are able to pick up the sound which is unmanifest in the creation, in the Akasha, etc., because of their enhanced abilities. We should accept it. That's what Shastra says. We may not be interested. Swamiji, I am not interested. But I am not telling that you have interest. Basically, I am not talking for that. But these things are there. So we don't discard all these things. Anyway, so because they have trained their mind, they have enhanced their capacity of the senses, etc. And therefore, even they are able to hear the unmanifest sound of Omkara, which is pervading the Akasha, etc. We call it as Anahata Shabda. Anahata Shabda means which is normally unmanifest. So here, but let's talk about ourselves. Pranavayau. So when Karne Pihite Antarah Shabda Shuyate. When you cover your ears, you are able to hear the sound. But sound of what? So they say Pranavayau, the movement of pranas inside the body, the circulation of blood, etc., and the movement of other, the pranic forces inside, we are able to hear prana, pana, vyana, etc. Then Jataragni Shabda, that's another type of sound you hear when you cover your ears with the hand, etc. So Jataragni Shabda, that is also Anahata Shabda. Right now you are not able to see. I am not able to hear. But when you cover, you find. And that you will definitely find, when you are hungry, you can hear the sound which is there in the stomach. Anyway, otherwise also the digestive fire constantly, you can hear that. Not right now. After the class is over, you just put a hand. Even if you are not hungry, some sound you will constantly hear. That's a sound of varieties of the organs which are working inside. You are able to hear. So not only the sense organs are able to pick up the gunas of the external sense objects, they are able to pick up those gunas called shabda, etc., from the body itself also. And it should be. Why it should not be? Because this is made up of 5 elements, then this is also made up of 5 elements. Every organ inside, heart or whatever, everything is made up of 5 elements. And therefore, respective gunas are also of the elements are there. And therefore, you are able to hear also. Here he talks about Shabda. And of course, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that Ayam Agnihi Vaishwanaraha Yaha Ayam Antah Purushe Yena Idam Annam Pachyade Tassesha Ghosho Bhavati, etc. etc. Ayam Agnihi Vaishwanaraha, Vaishwanar Agni, which is there in the stomach, Antah Purushe, which is there inside this man or human being, Yena Idam Annam Pachyate, because of which the food is digested, because it's a digestive fire. Well, Tassesha Ghosho Bhavati, well, this sound which belongs to that fire, digestive fire. So anyway, so Kadachit Karne Pihite Sati Pranavayo Jatharagno Antaraha Shabda Shruyate. One is able to hear Antara Shabda, which is the sound which is inside and which belongs to either Pranavayu, which belongs to either Jatharagni, I mean digestive fire, etc. You are able to hear. Where? Karne Pihite, when you cover your ears, so that you need not hear external sound, because that won't allow you to hear inside. So you can do that. So this is, and then other things are there, sparsha, etc. inside, that also you can feel, etc. We'll see that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.